cloud. Okay, so yes, if you want to raise your hand, please raise your hand. I'm going to start off here with Eric Spence. You were the first person to raise your hand. How you doing tonight?
Good, good. How's everybody doing tonight?
Awesome.
Good, thank you.
We're back in our rectangles.
No, absolutely, yeah. It's election night, so there's a lot of great energy in the air.
Yes.
I'm happy at some of the things that I'm seeing. Thank goodness. Some of the things too, I'm not so happy about. But some of the things right now, it's still early. We'll see how some of these things turn out in some of these other states, But for me, I guess speaking when I look at the conference, I thought it was just an amazing success. One of the things for my takeaways was having connection with other people, and especially when we had like those networking times, is to sit down with other people and have these really deep intellectual conversations that I think most of us probably always hunger for. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find it with people that are very like-minded. Like Dr. Keisha was mentioning earlier, she was saying, my folks, I was like, great. I felt the same way. Of course, when we can talk about wealth and we can talk about money, we can talk about finances, but there's also some of the underlying factors that always influence those things. For me, I got a chance to have a conversation with some educators there, and it was just incredible. This is some of the new innovations that they're starting and that they're working on. Things that for me is like completely energized me to hear that just some of their innovative approaches and things like that. So for me, I was just really blessed by that, because once again, you don't always get that opportunity. Even it's different sometimes even with your coworkers, because you do. There's a certain boundary that you want to keep there. But
I understand that.
Yeah, exactly. But for here, you were just, to me, able to really talk open and honest with some people on some things that are really, like I said, very near and dear to your heart, and
so and to our community in particular.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just get real thoughtful responses back from them. To me, I was really blessed by that. And one of the things too, because I did do the talk, and I talked about the tokenization of assets. But let me tell you, like Angela Green, I don't know if Angela's on now, but Angela's on.
Yes.
Angela's great, because Angela talked to me about it. We exchanged emails. She sent me an email contact. She looked at a company. She found a company that handles everything. It's called Smartlands. It handles everything, handles all the regulations and everything on it. So we're like digging. Like I said before, hey, we're going to really jump in and do this and begin to go and figure this out. And that process has already started. Both of us, I think, joined their Telegram. And, we're going to just dig in and begin to really get a chance to figure that piece out. So I just love that too, because I really meant that about having this very collaborative approach with blockchain, with really other very intelligent people who have their own specialties and understand their industries well. I mean, Angela's the real estate attorney. That's exactly what I was looking for.
That's exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. That's perfect. That's great. So anything that comes up, I can bounce it back and forth off of her. Like, that's excellent. So, and I know for her, she said she has an interest in.
And I do too. I remember I got to land too. Keep me in that loop too.
100%.
So here's one thing. I often talk about this group being about freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year content, right? Yeah. So we've gone through freshman and sophomore year. Definitely you have, Eric, being able to lead the presentation of how to select the blockchain platform with Dr. Keisha. Well, now you are starting to think about what major you want to have, right, within the blockchain space. And if your major is going to be the tokenization of assets, then you can be our go-to guy. There's nothing that says that everyone in BBC has to know absolutely everything. I just need to know who to go to when that project comes forth, right? And you need to know who to go to when a certain project comes forth. So I think it's great that you and Angela are really taking that by the, and
Yes,
saying, I was gonna say taking by the balls, yeah. And saying, we are going to be the experts in BBC and in the Black community for this, so that, because I have additional questions. Like I need a little bit more information, and I like to get a little bit more into the nitty gritty. Sure. And I want to, and Dr. Keisha was talking about this earlier, I would love for us to have a class in the Center for Blockchain Studies around this tokenization of assets and how people can actually put their asset on a blockchain and sell it off, and what are the legal ramifications and things like that. I would pay for that class, and I think a lot of people would too. So these are the types of things that we can offer the world that, would separate us from the masses. So I think it's great that you two, and anybody else who wants to join this team with Eric and Angela, please feel free.
Please, more than barrier.
Yeah, especially if you're in real estate. So
what would be really awesome is to take the existing tokenization course we have and add this piece to it, because this is the piece that's missing from our existing course. Mm-hmm. That how to do it, how to make it reality.
I agree.
That's the piece that piece being added will take that course to another level.
Right. You know what? We can have that first course to get people's appetite.
And then the sophomore.
Take it up. That's our next one to go to as we're learning. And so let me ask you about that. Did you create a group, a FLOT group around that in particular, the real estate piece? You and Angela? You did?
I mean, no, like we didn't yet, but we.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do that so we can get the people in there. So, that would, help organize things and
I think that's great.
Concentrate it.
Yeah, and when you're ready to teach that class for CBS, you can do just a simple flock like this and have your presentation and then have Q&A and call it a day. You don't have to do anything fancy for us to have these classes. Yeah. We're going to have a couple other classes like that. So, yeah.
Very good to know.
So any constructive criticism or suggestions for a 2019 location, Eric?
Okay, this is one thing I want to say, and I just want to be very honest about this.
Sure.
Listen, I live in Virginia Beach. I'm here now. This was incredibly inconvenient. I mean, incredibly convenient for me. You can only go from here, drive 4 hours. Yeah, you get that beltway traffic, which is like crazy, but that's nothing. Some of you flew. Dr. Keisha, you flew. Tawana, I think you flew, right? Raymond, you flew from Atlanta, right? So at the same time that I say that, I also say, okay, listen, you got to give, you got to take, you know what I mean? So at the same time, hey, listen, let's go. At the same time, I think it only kind of makes sense to kind of go to where other people are. But I'm just saying that to be very, very, very open on that side, that I want to be, just cognizant of other people in their geographical region, and to be able to go to them in a way that might be easier. Like one of the things that I was thinking about, just because we did have a large group from Philadelphia here, that maybe that's a location. I mean, I don't know. Some of you are in Atlanta. I mean, you can't tell me that this wouldn't be a major success in a city like Atlanta too. So I look at that too. So that's where I am. Dr. Keisha, Detroit. I'm not leaving you out.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to raise my hand for Detroit. We got it going on around here. We got to support that community. Absolutely.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a city, it's under, that's a Renaissance city right now.
It is. Yes, it is.
So
got places to take you guys.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So that's what, Dr. Keisha, you segued into my criticism. I would have loved to have a day for us.
Okay.
just a day, even if it was half a day, just for us to just do our own BBC group thing. That would have been awesome, because we kind of were stealing moments with each other.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I would have liked to have just an activity for us.
Okay. Like, do you mean a social activity, or do you mean a work activity?
A social activity.
A social activity. Okay. All right. Well, that could definitely be. So with that, we have Raymond to go. We have 2 people in the queue. If you want to be on the call tonight, please raise your hand. Raise your hand, and we will get to as many people as possible. So Raymond, what you got for us?
Hey, family.
Hey.
So I would just say that this conference, I've been to a lot of conferences. I've been to a lot of African-centered conferences, Black conscious liberating conferences, organized them, created them, participated in them, and this was the best. This was the best, hands down. And on one end, there was lots of knowledge. And part of the knowledge, it was not boring. It was knowledge that I can take in. I was not dozing off. I was not daydreaming. I was really interested in what every single individual had to say, the personalities of everyone, the diversified of their knowledge base, and how they articulated that was awesome. And I can relate to all of them. And so that was really good. The love of the people.
Yes.
It was so spiritually connected. Everyone, it was just love.
Yes, yes.
And that meant more to me than anything.
Yes.
When you can be amongst individuals that you have no knowledge of, and they just still embracing you with so much love. And so that was really good. Also, the networking with individuals to support them on their goals, to help them to be able to strategize and come up with ideas of how they can fit into this space, what we call blockchain, as well as what they're doing, and just offer any form of assistance and be able to do that networking, but really seeing people who are interested in doing something. And that's part of their mission. So that was good. The other thing is, it was funny.
It was.
Let me tell you, that sister.
Yes, I wanted somebody to say
comedian.
something.
She was
I thought that I was, at a comedy club, and I was laughing.
She's a comedian.
I was like, it was just, and it fit what she was saying. It fit for us.
It was perfect.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so, I want her to keep going on and on and on. I want her to have her own session.
Yes, yes.
So, and that's one thing, maybe, her doing a stand-up.
Yeah. Well, she does that. So she does Christian comedy.
Well,
Yeah, and she really is funny, and she will take Rapper's Delight, the old 70s, and I was in the audience when she did this, and she'll change the words for the occasion. I was trying to get her to do that, but she was like, I don't know enough about blockchain to make a rap about it.
No, she could talk about anything for me. It was just dynamite. But other individuals in their presentations was really good, dynamic. The knowledge base, the confidence, the support, the love. So that was great. And I would just say, for a plug-in, for next year, Atlanta.
I saw your comments.
Atlanta, we will bring out everybody. I will be on the ground recruiting, getting everybody to fill that up. Atlanta is the hub of blockchain as it is. Forget California and New York, Atlanta. Atlanta. So, but I support everybody else, but Atlanta.
Well, I will say this. So for us to choose a city, because I was close to Baltimore, I could be the anchor. Whatever city we choose, there has to be a very, very strong anchor in that city that can pull people, the local resources, you can get a social coordinator to get us to restaurants. You can find a suitable hotel for us to be in. all of that stuff. We need the right anchor. We need the right person in there for that. So
got it all covered.
that's one of the decision points that we have, because if we don't have the right ground support, I don't know Peachtree from whatever in Atlanta. So, you know, I'm just going to be following whomever is, if it's Atlanta, whomever that person is, there's got to be just strong anchor. So I'm just letting everybody know that now.
If you choose that, everything that you said is covered.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got family in Georgia, so that works for me.
Me too. Me too. Yeah. It sounds like we need a 2019 annual conference committee.
You know what? That's a great idea, Tawana. That is a great idea. So I think, honestly, if we do it right, we could triple attendance from what we had this year.
No doubt.
So, so anything else, Raymond?
I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart and from the depth of my soul, I love y'all so much. Y'all are the greatest group of people. It's one of those situations that, like, where have y'all been?
I know, right?
Where have y'all been?
Oh my God, you're gonna make me cry because I feel just the same way. My whole life.
I'm grateful to have you at where we are in life now, but I still want, where have you been? I wish I would have been there decades earlier. So thank you all for providing a very spiritually uplifting, powerful, loving conference.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Well, thank you, Raymond. So I see a question here before we get to Talisha. Crystal is saying, I joined a bit late. Can you reiterate the real estate project that was being discussed? Thank you. So the real estate project was actually the tokenization of assets. And Eric Spence is going to be leading that. But basically, the tokenization of assets is going to be the future way where we can, for example, put our houses on the blockchain or put a piece of property on the blockchain and sell a portion of it on the blockchain. So it's called the tokenization of assets. We don't know everything about it, but it is the future of real estate, and Eric Spence and Angela Green are going to be the ones that's leading that up so that all of us can know the basics of it, and then they're going to be our master strategists with that so that we don't miss out on that phenomenon. So with that, Raymond, good night, and Talisha, you are on.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
So the comments that I got, a lot of them were about the wealth of information that was provided. Everyone even said that first day was just, if it was just one day, they got enough information to go home and do something with it. So not only was it just information that they got that they felt were viable to them, but it was also very tactical. So I kept getting that over and over where people were definitely commenting on how applicable the information was, digestible, and that they could actually do something like right then and there. They were using their phones. They were like, well, let me go to those sites. Let me bookmark that. Let me put these Google alerts on. They were doing things while we were discussing. So I thought that was really helpful. This is my 5th conference this year. So I know you'll fully appreciate this. Eileen and I talked about this at the end, that typically going to blockchain conferences, you see just a very few of us in general. But as we have seen, both Cherie and I have both gone to several this year, and we are the only Black females. So it was nice to see not only a plethora of us as females, but also to see our counterparts there. So it was really just a nice way to truly just bond and see everyone, but not to be the only, because that's typically when we show up. We are the, the little dots in the milk. So it was really nice to feel like the collective was there, not only just in female, and then the males being very present and very active, and all of us sharing that information. So I thought that was always the comments that I was getting, and just reiterated over and over each of those days.
Fantastic.
Excellent.
So any kind of constructive criticism or a contact that you made or a suggestion for a 2019 location?
I'm not a fan of Atlanta, so sorry, Raymond. But I don't like Atlanta at all. But I would go if that's where we're going to go. We'll go. So
I don't know. Those might be fighting words to
I
me.
know, right?
It's not fighting words. It's just like I just don't like it. So I'm allowed to not like something. But just not my favorite place to go. I think, again, the breakouts were really good. I think we might need to extend those a little bit longer because they seem to have a lot of questions, and it was hard to start the engagement when just going through trying to review the information, which led to a lot of questions and then tangential questions. So I think we might need to do those little breakouts a little further and give them a little more time and access, and maybe break them up so that people, again, they were like, I want to go here and I want to go there. So 2 didn't even seem to accommodate them. And the 30 minutes definitely gave them, they felt like they were kind of rushing through and like, can I just call you? Can I do something else? So there was definitely great follow-up, but I think they needed a little bit more time in that session.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's it for me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. And we are going to put you back, and we are going to ask Rob to speak. And don't forget to unmute yourself, Rob. Oh, there you go.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Can hear you fine.
I'm going to stick with the primary point that most people are saying tonight, and that is the people.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing that I was impressed with. And so many of them. And so many of them so capable.
Mm-hmm.
And the other point that that Raymond made was their confidence. And that's what I wanted to see. And I always believed, even before this meeting, that we could do it.
Oh, yes.
Whatever it is we wanted to do, we could do it. We are capable.
Mm-hmm.
After this conference, I'm absolutely sure of it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Very true.
And with the where to go for the next one, I'm kind of going with the Atlanta thing. I went to Atlanta before. The first one we had. I don't know whether you remember that, Sherry. We had one before this. And,
Oh, you went to that? Did you go to that?
The Dr. Boyce one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was in Atlanta at the Omni. It's an outstanding hotel, and it's better than the one which you think is so outstanding at this other place. It's better than that.
Okay.
In addition to that, I think that Raymond has the ability to do all of what you had just asked him to do and do it well. And he would be a great MC or whatever it is that he wants to be. and now, because he's full of knowledge, he's a good talker, but he says things that make sense. I was as impressed with him as I was with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to that, with Eric.
Yes.
Eric, once you do your, I hope to God you do this thing on this tokenization.
I know,
Because
right?
you can do it, and no one can do it better than you.
Absolutely.
But once you write the script, I'm your man for the voiceover. Once you do the script, you give it to me and Anita, and we'll make it sing.
Oh my.
I have no more to say.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. And
yes.
we really do appreciate, everyone's, suggestions.
Yes.
We do take them very seriously. So we have time for a couple more people. So here's what I'll do. I'm looking for hands to be raised. Hands to be raised if you have something that you want to say, a lesson learned, a contact you made. I haven't heard anyone talk about, things that Samson or Maureen or Eric said, or Chris Henry said, some of the other things that we had on Saturday, the panels on Saturday. Any kind of constructive criticism that you have, or a suggestion for a 2019 location. So if somebody else wants to come on, go ahead.
I was going to add, I would like to have some music, little segues of music or something, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I remember you saying we were going to have a DJ. So I was like, oh,
we were supposed to have a DJ, but the budget wouldn't allow for it.
No problem. But, you know, we got all these Bluetooths and whatnot. We can throw some music on, you know. I know Ron put on back in the corner a little bit there at one point. But yeah, that was good.
Yeah, you know, next year, so I am not an event planner. Like, I could do, you know, little meetings for 8 to 10 people, but I realized that I suck, and that is a technical term, as an event planner. So when we do 2019, one of the things I will have is a real event planner in charge, because I'm great at MC. I'm great at putting together like a program, but the all of the logistics and things like that, I have come to realize that is not my strong suit. And I guess it's great for me to realize that during the first year, so that, you know, we can have better next year. So
we've got in the group, Tatiana Fortune does some event planning.
Yes. So I think before we schedule a date next year, we are going to check with Tatiana, and whatever date she's available is the date that we will probably select. So, but then we'll also be recruiting more event planners as well. So, okay. Well, you all are shy tonight because I don't see any hands raised. Either that or you're scared to be on camera. If you don't want to be on camera, you can still do a voiceover. So just, you know, say you don't want to be on camera. In the meantime, Tawana, we have some announcements in regards to the future of Blockchain Consortium International and Center for Blockchain Studies and BBC. And we do have some new people to the BBC community here tonight. So why don't you start off from the beginning of what BCI is and CBS, and then let people know some of the announcements that we have with regards to that.
So BCI is our consulting organization. There are a group of us who are consultants for the organization, and what we do is we help grow businesses ultimately. And so when we get business where people have ideas and they need their business ideas flushed out, or if it's a blockchain cryptocurrency business and they need a white paper or a research paper, we're the people they come to for that. And then from a Center of Blockchain Studies standpoint, we are an educational organization where we will have virtual courses, we will have relationships with government agencies where we'll be able to provide training, even in-person trainings. And some of the things we want to do over the next 2 to 5 years, we've got this big thought process about where we want to go. We're gonna streamline those thoughts, and we're going to focus on CBS for the next 6 months at least. So our focus will be creating content, creating more content, and creating more content so that we can create additional courses. So for those of you who are signed up as consultants and you've already been working so closely with us from a CBS standpoint, getting that content created for all the courses, we're going to rev up. We're going to continue that. We're going to start to meet and talk about the new topics we want to incorporate in our next set of courses. And that's where we're going to hit the pavement hot and heavy. And so we're not abandoning the BCI consultant model. We just know that we need to, one of the other things I learned this weekend is focus, right? You have to be focused. And I think that we've decided that we want to spend the next 6 months focusing on CBS because we believe two things. First and foremost, it is going to be a good revenue stream for us. And then secondly, it's the way we're going to be able to educate our people more about this space and build our BBC community so that we can continue to educate them so that they too can be invigorated like we are about this space.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So thank you. We had, Tawana and Dr. Keisha and I had a conversation. We actually had a couple of conversations, and during the conversation today, we talked about the fact that everybody has a niche. So right now, if we were to just do regular blockchain education, we would be competing against CoinDesk and a lot of these other platforms that are out there. The conference really taught me that there's a need for us to have our own education with our own examples, and for us to not shy away from being Black blockchain consultants. We, during our conversation earlier today, we thought, what about bringing in other ethnicities, and do we want to do the big diversity thing? And I kind of said no. I said we really should focus on being Black blockchain consultants. We really should focus on being the group that people come to say, I want to work with Black people. I want to work with Black developers, Black PR agents, Black that understand blockchain, Black website designers that understand blockchain, Black salespeople that understand blockchain, etc. So as we're talking about doing the Center for Blockchain Studies, yes, if we get a government contract or something like that, we will absolutely take it. But we're really looking at saying, hey, let's carve this out as our market niche. Yes. Let's focus on, can we get 1 million Black people across the diaspora to get into blockchain? If we had that as a mission, and if we were able to achieve that, or I should say when we're able to achieve that, CBS will take care of itself, because people will come in and they will want to be educated in this stratosphere. And then we will have Flock, where we'll have job opportunities and business opportunities and teaming opportunities and all of those things that we originally talked about will be there. So I just want to let you know that one of the things we talked about focus, one of the things that I want to do is see if we can get back to our roots in terms of focus. So the final thing, or two things, we also talked about social media and being able to create a funnel, something called a sales funnel, where people will find out about blockchain and either BBC or CBS, some sort of way. They find out who we are through our social media, through conferences, through other things that we're doing. They are added to our email list. They're invited to our monthly meetings. They get a weekly newsletter from us. We want to start that newsletter up again. And ultimately, they're converted to being either, well, hopefully both, BBC members and CBS students. That's really what we're aiming for. So as Tawana said, we are going to be looking for content providers and social media experts to help us build that. The final thing is, we talked about doing fundraising a couple of months ago, actually several months ago, and I held off because I don't like taking people's money unless I know for certain what we're doing. I finally feel more comfortable with the direction that we're going. I also know that we don't need as much money as we thought. So what we're going to talk about is reducing the amount of money that we're looking for per person that wants to invest in growing CBS significantly. So we'll look at maybe anywhere from, $1,000 to maybe $1,500. We may take some $500 investments. We can only take 35 people, but that money is going to go to social media marketing, social media advertising, getting us out there, getting our names out, because we do want to focus on virtual sales of our courses that have been created. So we don't have everything figured out yet, but that's really where we're headed. Yes, we're going to be doing live courses. We have a couple of opportunities that we're not ready to talk about yet. People have come to me with some great opportunities, and Tawana and Dr. Keisha and I are funneling through those and asking lots of questions to make sure that that's what we want to do. But we definitely know we could sell 1 million CBS courses online tonight, and you know, there would be no pressure because that content has already been created. So anything else that you want to add, ladies? Or
I just wanted to add too that you know, all the work that we've done as a team, it's time for us to bring those sales in, and education is really it's going to be our bread and butter. This is a space that is in a state of continuous development, in which case education will be our way to stay relevant, to sustain CBS and, you know, BCI and BBC, you know, all that we're doing. And I look forward to it. I absolutely look forward to it. And we've got, you know, we've got a lot of good content already. We can start breaking down some things, but anyway, it's time for it's time for CBS to be collaboration brings sales. Let's do it, you guys.
yeah.
And to anyone who has created content for us, you know, we'll be reaching out to all of those people to talk about what that means from a royalty standpoint and all of that. So
absolutely.
So don't fret.
Don't fret. Yes.
We know who's gotten us where we are today. So
exactly. So we're doing some restructuring now internally, and once that's settled, we promise we will be coming back to everybody. But if you have money, if you can just keep a little bit on the side for us, because this does need some funding. And I'll just be honest with everybody. I won't tell you how much I had to dip into my savings, but it was quite a bit for this conference. I put quite a bit out for this conference, and I don't regret it because we have access to Samson Williams, Maureen Murad, Chris Henry, Eric Guthrie, Rachel Hirsch. You know, these are people now that I can call and say, I need this, I need access to this person, I need that. And we can get it because of that. So, but we're going to need some financial assistance to put on 2019 because, you know, that's just the way it is. And we also going to need some financial assistance in order to start getting the sales in for our CBS course. So, Norma, if you want to unmute yourself.
Hello, Dr. Norma.
Hi.
Hello.
First, I want to thank Raymond Porter for inviting me. He's been talking about this for a while, and has been explaining this whole technology. I'm still stuck in the 20th century. But I was so energized, I went home and I started reading more about it. Because my background is in education, I'm always thinking about children and how do we get children to the next level, because these, you know, children are the ones that were born with this technology, and there's so much that they can do. I started a children's book on you know, blockchain. I know nothing about blockchain, but but I started writing a children's book. But I just hope next year, and maybe you've already thought about this, that there can be like a conference stream for young people, for like middle school and high school students. If you haven't already thought about that, I hope you would consider it. But again, I had a phenomenal time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And any suggestion for a location for 2019?
I'm partial to Baltimore because it's convenient, but I love Atlanta. So, you know, wherever you go, I will be there.
Okay, perfect. I love it. We're traveling. We're just going to be travelers. So, well, thank you so much. And I'm going to let Shawnette come on next. And unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Unmute yourself. Oh, there we go. Okay, now you got it.
Very good. I just wanted to jump on real quick and say that I had a great time. It was it was everything. I know that this is a wave of the future, but coming and listening and the inspiration, it just kind of set a fire under me, you know? I love the diversity of the panelists. It was just like a rally. It just felt so uplifting. It like literally set a fire. I've been looking at some courses that I'm interested in taking. I wish that we could have had the financial roundtable, because that was one of the ones that I was interested in, real estate and finance. But
okay.
I'm just like so all in now. Before I was like, okay, I'm not going to miss it. I'm gonna find some way to be on it. But now I'm like just 100% into finding a way for me to be just a benefit and a benefit to the group and to to everything we're trying to do for our families. And I had to get to work, but I did want to say how it moves me. And how I just
thank you.
That's awesome.
Thank you. And thanks for coming in before you went to work as well. We really appreciate that.
All right. You guys have a good day.
All right. You too.
And everyone, Shanette's my sister.
Yes.
That was awesome.
Tawana's sisters. We had to take good care of her. So Tanny is asking a question here. She's saying, I could be wrong, but this sounds like the same marketing that Dr. Boyce used to funnel people into what became the digital underground. That is true. I've seen many branches from that tree, which is great. However, will at least Tawana's involvement with BBC affect Biggie? Tawana, you want to talk about your relationship between BBC and Biggie?
Absolutely. So for those who don't know, I'm the Biggie vice president. And, Biggie is an investment club, ultimately, where we're going to be investing in blockchain companies, possibly cryptocurrencies, depending on how the market changes again and what it does. And then maybe even traditional investment opportunities for the group. And many of the people here, I see 34 people on this call, as I go through the names, many of us are part of both organizations, Tanny, including you. And so, I think for me personally, I come from a diverse background where I've worn many hats in many different situations, and I'm able to, actually, I'm very good at keeping things separate. And so when I'm representing Biggie, I'm representing the membership body of Biggie. And when I'm representing BBC or BCI or CBS, then I'm representing that organization and doing the best I can for them. I think there are going to be some opportunities for both organizations to be able to come together as things are identified and opportunities are identified that can benefit both organizations. The other thing we want to remember is right now Biggie has about 194, I think the last number Rob and I got about 194 members. The officers of Biggie are not making decisions independent of the membership body. The membership body votes on any deal and any significant bylaw change even. And so we're not doing things in a bubble. Every member has a voice. And that's the thing that you guys have to remember as Biggie members, is that your voice is not only appreciated, but according to the SEC, it is required, right? So the SEC says every member must be active, and active by definition doesn't mean just paying your dues. By the SEC's definition, it means participating actively. And so, that's the thing we all have to remember. And at any time, if anyone thinks that, the lines are blurred or a little gray, then we need to have open, honest dialogue about that. In full transparency. I believe in full transparency. It gets me in trouble at work every single day, but I believe in it. So it's one of those things that it just is what it is. So Tanny, I hope that answers your question and gives you a better feeling about any maybe apprehension or anything that you may have been thinking.
Yeah, so as most of you know, I have always seen Biggie as a sister organization to us and to what we're doing, because we're going to have people coming to us with great blockchain ideas, whether they're members of BBC or not, and we want to be able to send them to Biggie and have them vetted thoroughly by that specific committee. And then, as I've always said, you know, if Biggie is able to fund these companies, and then these companies are required to come back to BBC in order to use our services, it helps all of us as a community. So, you know, I've always been a proponent of that. And yes, we do want to use that fund. Now, that funnel wasn't created by Charles Wu and Dr. Boyce. That funnel idea has been around for centuries. We are just using it within this organization because it makes good business sense. So, and with that, Nafisia, hi.
Hi guys.
Hello, little one.
I feel like we're sisters now.
Yes.
Shh. I'm sorry, this is my son.
Oh, it's okay. Hey.
Actually, I really wanted to tell you, Cherie, and the panel, that after the conference, I came home and I said, forget it. I am leaving my second job. I'm really going to focus on the blockchain now. So that's really, I mean, that's why I think that was the number one thing. And then now it actually empowers me that actually, you know, I can do it. I have a whole community to help me. So I'm not alone. So I did finish the blockchain certification class. So then I started looking for more things. So I made the decision, that's it. So I gave my resignation at my second job.
Okay.
Oh my.
So,
Wow.
That's dedication.
So, yes.
Wow.
So they're taking my dream. So thanks to you guys. Thank you.
Good for you. So now we have to help you or work with you to turn this decision into cash, because that we definitely, you know, want to see that happen. So definitely through the education, some of the job opportunities that are available. I can't remember what you do for a living. Like, what's your skill?
I'm a nurse practitioner, so I've been in the emergency department for God knows forever.
So maybe connecting with Talisha and figuring out some ways to even do some blockchain healthcare consulting or something like that could be, you know, a great avenue for you. So yeah. So I know that Talisha knows the various people that are part of our healthcare community. And within Flock, I think there is a healthcare subgroup.
We've got a healthcare channel, and it doesn't get very much activity at all, but it's been out there since almost the beginning.
Yeah, so maybe you guys can get that started again and start looking on LinkedIn for some companies that are doing blockchain healthcare and offer your services as consultants to that group. You know,
there's another gentleman, one of the gentlemen that Raymond posted 3 videos that he got. One was
I think there's a gentleman who was a dentist in the Army. He's very interested in healthcare.
Okay.
That I met there. And Chris Henry also told me about Dr. Gray, who's also doing a research with the NIH.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I learned so much, and I feel so much more. I mean, at first I didn't think I had that much confidence. So I'm so confident now. Thank you.
Good for you.
Wow,
that's
great.
And that means a lot, because when you doubt yourself, you kind of like lag behind. But now I said, no, I'm not going to miss this.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you, Nafisia, and the baby behind you. So, yes. So, with that, we just have a couple of additional. Oh, and Angela wants to come in. I'm going to let my girl Angela come in. We have a couple of additional people here that have Q&A. So Tanny is saying to you, Tawana, understood, and I appreciate your explanation. I too am seeing the opportunity for future endeavors between the two groups. I think you have all been open and honest, and I thank you. So That is Tanny's response. And then Eugenia, my girl Eugenia, has suggestions. She said, send the follow-up survey to Hall who attended to get feedback from them as well. Okay, perfect. And then 2019 location, wherever there's a large blockchain population and interest. Okay. And then her takeaways, she says, friendships, blockchain collaborations have formed and lasting thought-provoking impression. So thank you, Eugenia, for those comments. And Angela, I'm going to let you come on here. And this is going to be our last person for the night because I am getting tired.
You see my eyes are red.
Yes. Angela.
Hello.
Hey.
Good evening.
Listen, I just wanted to jump in. I just kind of been listening as I've been doing some things here at the house. And I noticed, well, I heard, Cherie, that you were saying you were going to need some help as far as financial moving forward, especially, I guess, for marketing of the organization here and then also for the conference. And so, you know, having been one of the individuals who were kind of there at the beginning and seeing the development of both Biggie and the organization and then being a part of Biggie and now becoming more engaged here, I don't know if you had thought about maybe putting together some sort of pitch to Biggie as far as this company and Biggie considering investing in the company. It seems like a fit. I mean, we have so many members who kind of go back and forth between the two organizations. And I don't know, I just think we should at least put it on the table and see if it's something that we, you know, we can come to some terms on. So I just kind of wanted to just jump in and kind of put that out there and let us chew on it and see what we think.
I think that's a great idea for me to approach Kayron and the team and ask about that. Actually, I had not thought about that. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. So we will be, I'll let you know, we are going to be doing a debrief with Kayron and Biggie tomorrow night, you know, to talk about them being a sponsor of the event and the things that they would have liked to improve and, you know, all of that stuff as well. So we'll definitely bring it up. We'll definitely bring it up because the interesting thing about Biggie is that they cannot market.
Right.
They can't market, but they can leverage us to market. And our goal, like I said, I'd love to see 1 million Black people in blockchain coming through BBC. So at the end of the day, it helps them if we are successful because of the advertising that BBC can do.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so yeah, I like that as an idea. Obviously, we'll have to be vetted ourselves and all of that through Biggie, but
pitch, yeah.
yeah, I have to go through the hot seat pitch and all of that. But yeah, we
think it's
definitely will ask them.
Yeah, I think it's a worthy idea to consider, and it definitely would have my my vote as far as really looking into it and seeing exactly how we can make it work and make it mutually beneficial for everybody, the members as well as the owners of this organization as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's all I wanted to add. The conference was awesome. I enjoyed myself thoroughly. Was able to, you know, meet everybody, make great contacts. Looking forward to working with Eric, trying to figure out that tokenization of assets, real estate. So yeah, just looking forward to you know, all the good things that are going to be happening in the future.
Absolutely. So with that, Tawana, any last words? Thank you, Angela.
No, I just love you guys.
We love you too.
All right, guys.
Dr. Keisha?
Just ditto with everything that we've done here and talked about here. I'm just excited about us absolutely putting some shoes on these ideas and working together and you know, manifesting everything we talked about in the meeting. So let's get it. Let's get it. I'm so glad to hear everybody's regenerated and whatnot, and rejuvenated. So that's exciting. That's super exciting. Yeah.
Yes. So, alrighty then. So we are going to have another meeting on November 26th. That's Monday, November 26th at 8 p.m. That's our monthly meeting where you're able to invite everybody, and just stay in flock and stay connected. And we will be releasing more information about what's going to be happening with CBS and everything that entails. But we're very serious that we are going to get this thing revenue producing because people are asking for it. So with that, I'm going to bed. So
I know, right?
Good night.
Good night, you guys.
Good night, guys.